So, has Israel been committing genocide in Gaza? South Africa has accused them of that before the International Court of Justice. Have they? And the answer is no. Now, there are groups there that do intend to commit genocide against Israel. Iran wants to wipe Israel off the map. There are Shiite proxies in Iraq and Syria want to kill as many Israelis as possible. Hezbollah in Lebanon has the same goal. And the Sunni Palestinian Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Gaza all have as their intent to wipe Israel and Israelis off the map. Hamas would like to kill all Jews if they could. Their convention, if you read it, that they created to organize themselves, has an extremely distorted view of history, blaming Jews for most modern ills. Now, I need to explain, this is not a feature of Islam. These groups distort Islam out of recognition. Islam regards Christians and Jews as people with a book to be tolerated, not to be murdered. But these groups all refuse to accept the existence of a Jewish state in their midst. So the question is Israel, in retaliation for being attacked by Hamas on October 7th, Hamas intended to kill as many Israelis as they could in the most brutal, vicious ways they could imagine. And it was dastardly. If you read what they did to babies, for example, you probably don't want to eat lunch before you read about it. But is Israel intending to commit genocide against the Palestinians, particularly in Gaza? And the answer is no. They do not intend to do that. South Africa trivializes the very concept of genocide. Israel's aim is not to commit genocide against the Palestinians. They do intend to eliminate Hamas, which committed these horrible crimes. Not all Palestinians, or just those. So far, maybe 26,000 Palestinians have been killed. It's a misleading number because that includes those who were Hamas members, probably somewhere around 9,000 by now. The Israeli Defense Force has been very careful to distinguish between Hamas and the civilian population. Typically, before they attack a part of Gaza, they will warn the people living in the area they're going to attack to get out of harm's way. No one choosing to commit a genocide would do that. But Hamas never warns. And they have built tunnels and bunkers at least 50 meters deep to protect themselves, not the civilians. The problem for Israel is the entrances to these tunnels and bunkers are placed underneath apartment complexes, hospitals, mosques, schools, and other suitable places. The tunnel network is maybe around 500 kilometers in total length, 312 miles, maybe more. That's about half the distance of New York City's underground subways. The tunnels are built with steel reinforced concrete, which have ramps to allow Hamas members to access them from very well disguised entrances. The longest tunnel found so far began in the sand dune. The tunnels have piping, they have cables to sustain life, and they are specialized in terms of what the different bunkers are built for, and they are very well provisioned for Hamas members, not for civilians. They have sections for launching attacks, storage, transportation, having meetings, hiding hostages, and residences. Israel is not carrying out attacks against Palestinians intentionally with the purpose of committing genocide. They try their best to try and separate, but Hamas uses civilians as human shields. So it's a situation where there are bound to be civilians killed. Is that genocide? The answer, again, is no. A very good comparison to me will be the Japanese in World War II. Their government did not build shelters for its civilians in the home islands, only shelters for its important government officials. They knew the Americans were going to firebomb their cities, and they did nothing to protect their civilians. Hamas is very much doing the same thing. Hamas is genocidal in intent, not Israel. Genocide must have intent at its roots, and Israel has no such intention.